So good morning student. So in the last class we have discussed about your transmission line, in which I have taught you about the types of transmission line. So how to calculate its input impedance, how to calculate its phase velocity, condition for lossless line and distortion line, and we have also studied about the phase constant and propagation constant. So in this class we will calculate the important parameter, that is your input impedance. Input impedance means here in transmission line we will always try to deliver maximum power to the load. Our target is trying to deliver, because transmission line is the media. Transmission line is the media which is going to connect your source to load. So what will be the characteristics of this medium, so that maximum power will be transferred from source to load. So in order to transmit maximum power, we will go through three types of impedance. That is your input impedance. Input impedance means it is the impedance seen from the source side. Another is your characteristic impedance. Characteristic impedance means it is the impedance with which, if your load is terminated, the entire reflection will be 0 and maximum power will be observed. Another is your load impedance, that is your ZL. ZL means your antenna or any other devices which your transmission line going to deliver power. So this is your transmission line. One second, I am going to draw this. This is your source. Always you represent source with the Thevenin's impedance, Thevenin source, that is your VTH and RTH. Here source means VS and having some internal resistance, that is your RS. Then we have a 2-year transmission line. And we will have load. This transmission line having characteristic impedance Z0. Input impedance means impedance seen here, that is your Zin. This is your input impedance, that is impedance seen by this source, because this source going to deliver maximum power to transmission line, and this transmission line going to deliver maximum power to your load. So when this source going to deliver maximum power, suppose this is your Zs, when this source impedance equal to your input impedance, this Zs must be equal to Zin when maximum power from source to transmission line will be delivered. Then when this transmission line going to deliver maximum power to your load, when Z0 is equal to Zl. So kindly remember these two conditions for maximum power transmission, for max power transmission, that is source impedance Zs must be equal to your input impedance of the transmission line. Zin is the input impedance of the transmission line, Z0 is the characteristic impedance, Zl is the load impedance. So this is the two conditions for maximum power transmission. There is no reflection wave exist. All the power that is originating from your source will be delivered to the load ZL. In this case, your reflection, the net reflection will be 0. So we will see that. Then I have already explained you, that is the important parameter of transmission line is the length of the transmission line, which is denoted by L. Because we have calculated the input impedance Zin, which is equal to, for lossless transmission line, Zin is equal to Z0 times ZL plus Z0 tan beta L divided by Z0 times JZL tan beta. So this is the equation for your input impedance. Now by so the input impedance depends on what are the parameters of the transmission line, that is your characteristic impedance, load impedance, and one important parameter, that is the length of the transmission line. Combinedly this beta L is known as your electrical length. Combinedly this beta L is known as your electrical length. Electrical length of the transmission line, and L is the length of the transmission line. So L is always comparable with your wavelength of the signal, because this is a AC signal. Yes or no? So AC signal means it has some wavelength. Obviously alternative signal having, we measure either in terms of frequency or in terms of wavelength. So we will see that how to calculate this. So always we are going to compare the length of the transmission line with the wavelength of the source, this AC source. So important point I am going to write here. The nature of the input impedance and its behavior always depends on L to lambda relationship. The nature of the input impedance always depends on L to lambda relationship. So the nature of the input impedance and its behavior always depends on L to lambda relationship. So now we will see case 1 and case 2. Case 1, if L is equal to lambda by 4. What does it mean? That is your length of the transmission line equal to lambda by 4. Lambda is your wavelength. Lambda is your wavelength of the signal. So how to calculate wavelength? Wavelength is always calculated by velocity of your wave by frequency. Velocity by frequency always going to give you lambda. If it is a free space, then this V is equal to C by F. C is the velocity of light when it is a medium is the, when medium is free space, then V is equal to C. Then V is equal to C. For any other medium, this V is equal to C by root over of epsilon r. For any other medium, this V is equal to C by root over of epsilon r, where epsilon r is the dielectric constant. Dielectric constant or relative permittivity. Relative permittivity. So this relative permittivity epsilon r is equal to 1 for air medium. For that's why this for air medium V is equal to C. C is the velocity of light. So if L is equal to lambda by 4, that is your length of the transmission line is equal to lambda by 4. This type of transmission line, when the length of the transmission line equal to quarter of wavelength, that is lambda by 4. That is your lambda by 4. For example, in your signal, What is your wavelength? Suppose this is your AC signal. Wavelength means distance between this crest or distance between this top. So this is your lambda distance. So then lambda by 4. So this length is your lambda by 4. Are you able to understand? This length is your lambda by 4. So this lambda by 4 length, when the length of the transmission line equal to lambda by 4, it is known as quarter wave transformer. It is known as quarter wave. 1/4 of the wave I have already shown you, 1/4 of the wave, that's why quarter wave length. So when L is equal to lambda by 4, in that case what will be the input impedance? So what is the formula for input impedance? Input impedance is equal to Z0 times ZL plus JZ0 tan beta L divided by Z0 times JZL tan beta L. So now how to calculate this beta L? Beta L means, what is the value of beta? Beta is 2 pi by lambda. Beta is your always 2 pi by lambda. And what is the length? Length is given as lambda by 4. So lambda got cancel out. Here 2 is cancel out. So what will be beta L? Beta L is equal to pi by 2. Beta L is equal to pi by 2. Then put this beta L value in this equation. Then what will be the value? Zn is equal to Z0. So you have tan beta L. Tan beta L means you have tan pi by 2. Tan pi by 2 is your infinity. So 2 pi by lambda and lambda by 4. So we have ZL plus Z0 tan pi by 2 divided by Z0 times plus JZL tan pi by 2. Just I am putting that beta L value in this equation. So beta L is your pi by 2. So for this pi by 2, so we will have, so tan pi by 2 is your infinite. So I have to take common here. So how to calculate? We know tan theta is sin theta by cos theta. So I am going to write this here. From this equation to write here, Zn is equal to Z0 times ZL plus JZ0 tan pi by 2 means sin pi by 2 by cos pi by 2. Tan theta is your sin theta by cos theta, sin pi by 2 by cos pi by 2 divided by Z0 times JZL tan pi by 2 means here sin pi by 2 by cos pi by 2. So we will have this Z0 is equal to take LCM. So cos pi by 2 we have to take LCM, and this cos pi by 2 in the denominator will be cancelled out. So finally we have ZL cos pi by 2 plus JZ0. Just I am taking the LCM z by sin pi by 2 divided by z0 cos pi by 2 plus jzl sin pi by 2. What is the value of cos pi by 2? Means cos 90. Cos 90 means always 0. Sin 90 is 1. So putting that value z0 zl into cos pi by 2. So cos pi by 2 means 0. So we have 0 plus j z0 sin pi by 2 means 1 divided by your z0 into cos pi by 2. Cos pi by 2 again 0. So entire term will be 0 plus j zl sin pi by 2 means 1. So this obviously 0 plus something always equal to that this value. So here j got cancelled out. What is remaining? So we have z0 into z0. So z square divided by zl. So hence zin is equal to z0 square by zl. Zin is equal to z0 square by zl. So important thing you can notice from here. So this zl is in denominator. That means this zin is inversely proportional to this zl. That means if at load is your open circuit, then at input impedance your source seen it as inverse. Inverse means open circuit means infinite impedance. So 1 by infinity. So something, suppose z0 square by infinity always going to gives you 0. So input impedance becomes your short circuit. So impedance inversion takes place. Impedance inversion takes place when length of the line is equal to lambda by 4. So this is very important. You should note it down. When the length of the line is it's one end. So its one end impedance is in opposite nature to the other end. So what is the input impedance in case of length is equal to lambda by 4? So the input impedance when the length is lambda by 4, Zin is equal to Z0 square by Zl. Impedance inversion. Why? Because Zl is inversely proportional to Zin. Impedance inversion. So if somebody asks you what is the significance of this quarter wave transmission line, so in case of quarter wave transmission line, impedance inversion takes place. That is, at load impedance, if the load impedance is a short circuit, at input impedance the source seen it as a open circuit. If the load impedance is open circuit, your source seen it as a short circuit. That's why this quarter wave transformer or that's why this is also known as your quarter wave transformer. So this circuit having various significance with respect to a transmission line, it is also used for impedance matching circuit. The biggest application of this quarter wave transformer, quarter wave transmission line, is used as impedance matching circuit. This is used as impedance matching circuit. Next we will see case 2 when L is equal to lambda by 2. Case 2 when length of the transmission line is equal to lambda by 2. So here one thing you should remember, how I am measuring this length. The length of the transmission line always measuring with respect to your wavelength. So length is equal to lambda by 2. So how to calculate this lambda? Lambda we will find that is if the source is given as some signal that is having amplitude 2 volt and 30 hertz, 30 megahertz for example. This is a source, and in your question they will give it has amplitude 2 volt and frequency 30 megahertz. So from that frequency, and I have already explained you how to calculate lambda. Lambda is equal to C by F for your AR medium. For any other medium, how to calculate? The lambda is equal to C by epsilon r root over into F. C by epsilon r root over, epsilon r is your dielectric constant. It is always given you when the material is some coaxial cable or some dielectric material we are using in that case. So L is equal to, this is very important. From now onwards always we are going to mention the length in terms of wavelength. So for that case, what is the value of Zin? Zin is equal to, we have also just write the formula Z0 times ZL plus JZ0 tan beta L divided by Z0 times JZL tan beta L. Z0 times JZL tan beta L. So first we have to calculate beta L. What is the value of beta L? Beta is your known as 2 pi by lambda into L is value is lambda by 2. So this lambda cancel out, 2 cancel out. So beta L value is pi. So now we have to put the value of tan pi. So Zin is equal to Z0 times ZL plus JZ0 tan of pi. We also know sin pi means sin 180 degree. Sin 180 degree is 0. So tan pi means sin theta by cos theta. So sin pi is 0 means numerator is 0 means whatever value present at your denominator also that ratio becomes 0. So tan pi is also 0. Tan pi is also 0. That means tan 180 degree is also 0. So we have Z0 plus JZL again tan pi. Hence we have Z0. How to write this? Tan pi becomes 0. So we have ZL divided by, here also tan pi becomes 0. Here you have Z0. So this Z0 cancel out. What is remaining? So Zin is equal to ZL. So in case of what we will find here? Here we can see at quarter wave transmission line Zin is inverse of ZL. Zin is equal to Z0 square by ZL. But in case of half wavelength transmission line, Zin is equal to ZL. That is impedance reflection. Impedance reflection. This condition is also known as impedance reflection. That is Zin is equal to ZL means this is your impedance reflection. So this condition you should remember for what is the length of the transmission line, so that impedance reflection will take place. That is the condition, length must be equal to half of the wavelength, that is lambda by 2. So this type of MCQ question, multiple choice question in your exam they will ask you. For quarter wave transmission line impedance inversion takes place. For half wavelength line impedance reflection will take place. So I will draw the diagram for you so that it will give you a clear picture how this impedance reflection will take place. Suppose this is your ZS. This is ZL. So for L is equal to lambda by 2, this impedance Zin must be equal to ZL. Now we have calculated this impedance Zin is equal to ZL. So whatever may be the impedance present here, it will be reflected to the input side. It will be reflected to the input. This is for example, this is your transmission line. This is your input side of the transmission line, and this is the output side. So output impedance ZL also, if the length equal to lambda by 2, this input impedance must be equal to ZL. That's why I'm saying that impedance reflection takes place when length is equal to lambda by 2. So this is very, very important. Similarly, you can calculate for length is equal to lambda by 8 and for length is equal to lambda. Now we will see reflection coefficient, standing wave ratio. This is very, very important. So first we will see reflection coefficient. First we will see reflection coefficient. Reflection coefficient, which is denoted by gamma. Reflection coefficient is always denoted by gamma. So reflection coefficient is defined as, it is the ratio of reflected voltage wave to incident voltage wave. It is the ratio of reflected voltage or current wave, amplitude of the reflected or voltage or current wave to incident voltage or current wave. So it is the ratio of reflected voltage or current wave to incident voltage or current wave. So this we can write mathematically VR by VF. So VF is denoted here as forward voltage wave, VR is denoted here as reflected voltage wave. Reflected voltage wave. Then what is the relationship? So you need to remember this formula. This gamma is a complex quantity. It has some magnitude and some phase. So what is the value of this gamma? Gamma is equal to ZL minus Z0. So I am going to write this. Why reflection takes place in transmission line? Whenever there is impedance mismatch. That is, in the first class I have already explained you, when the load impedance not equal to your characteristic impedance, some part of the incident wave got reflected back, and what is that amount is reflected back, we will compare it by using your some coefficient, and that coefficient is known as your reflection coefficient. That is, suppose 100% 100 wave I am sending towards load, 80 is reaching and 20% is reflected back. Then what fraction of the wave is reflected back? What fraction of the wave is reflected back? So that is your 20% divided by 80%. That means 1 by 4. So reflected wave by incident wave or forward wave. Incident wave, or this is also known as your forward wave, and this reflected wave is also known as your backward wave. So kindly remember this terminology, which will be very, very helpful. So how to calculate this? So obviously this reflection coefficient obviously depends on your load impedance as well as your characteristic impedance. So gamma is equal to ZL minus Z0 divided by ZL plus Z0 e to the power minus of J2 beta x. So beta x is the length of the transmission line. So this gamma we can see here, it is a complex quantity. So what if I take only the magnitude, one magnitude of this gamma, this is magnitude means mod. So e to the power minus j beta x, always e to the power j theta magnitude always going to equal to 1. So what will be remaining? ZL minus Z0 divided by ZL plus Z0. So this is the formula for your reflection coefficient. So somebody if ask you that if load impedance equal to characteristic impedance, so what if ZL equal to Z0, so put that value ZL equal to Z0. If both are equal, then it will be cancelled out and reflection coefficient equal to 0. So reflection coefficient equal to 0. And for any other value, that is, this is your minimum value. So minimum value of reflection coefficient is 0. Minimum value of reflection coefficient is 0. What will be its maximum value? That is when this ZL is short circuited, the maximum value of reflection coefficient, that is when ZL is equal to 0 or ZL is equal to open circuit. For that case, this reflection coefficient gamma is equal to 1. So put here ZL is equal to 0, ZL is equal to 0. We have gamma magnitude. Magnitude always gives you positive value. Magnitude always gives you positive value. So cancel out minus 1 and magnitude of gamma is equal to 1. So what is the range of this gamma? Range of this gamma is 0 to 1. 0 to 1. So when gamma is equal to 0, minimum all the way will be transformed. That is, maximum power will be transferred when this reflection coefficient is 0. And what is the maximum value of this reflection coefficient? What is the maximum value of this reflection coefficient? That is your 1. So when there is 0 transmission and 100% reflection, what is that case? When gamma is equal to 1. Gamma is equal to 1 means 100% reflection. So now I am writing here the significance. When this gamma magnitude is equal to 0, when gamma is equal to 0, if this is the case where 0 reflection, that is reflection is 0 and 100% transmission. When gamma is equal to 1, that is 0 transmission and 100% power will be reflected back. 100% power will be reflected back. So gamma is equal to 1. So what will be the necessity? So from this, so if at all we are sending some power from your television antenna to for example satellite, so in that case we have a standing wave ratio meter or reflection wave meter. From that meter we can see what we will calculate from in that meter. We will calculate your reflection coefficient. If this reflection coefficient is 0, that means this is a very good, that is impedance will be matching and 100% transmission will occur. If this gamma magnitude is equal to 1, that means 100% reflection will be occur. In between we have some transmission as well as some reflection. So what will be your target? This gamma will be as minimum as 0. That is, for example, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. This will be the value. If this is the value of gamma, then maximum transmission will be occur and minimum reflection. When gamma is closer to 1, that is 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, in that case, what will happen? 100% reflection and 0 transmission. So always we need to remember gamma minimum value is 0, gamma maximum value is 1, and in practical case we will find the value of gamma in between 0 to 1, that is 1 by 2, 1 by 4, 1 by 3, like that. So this is all about your reflection coefficient. In the next class we will study about very important concept of transmission line, that is your standing wave ratio and some impedance matching circuit, and after that we will start your antenna. So thank you.